All right, let's talk about the future of work, specifically your job, and what the entire landscape might look like by the year 2030. We're going to dig into the World Economic Forum's big Future of Jobs report to get a real handle on the massive changes that are already heading our way. So let's start with the big headline number. By 2030, the global economy is expected to add a net 78 million jobs. And on the surface, that sounds pretty great, right? More jobs, more growth, fantastic.
But, and this is a huge but, that's a net number. And that one simple figure is actually masking a massive, seismic shift happening just underneath. It hides the real story of creation and destruction.
And here's that story. A staggering 22% of today's jobs are expected to be totally transformed by this churn. We're talking about 170 million new jobs being created, but at the same time, 92 million existing jobs are just disappearing. So this isn't just some steady, calm growth. This is a huge structural reshuffling of the entire labor market.
Okay, so what in the world is causing this great reshuffle? What's driving all this change? Well, the report really boils it down to 5 fundamental forces that are all hitting us at the same time. Let's break them down.
So here they are. First up, no surprise, rapid technological change, especially AI. Then you've got the green transition as we move towards a more sustainable economy. There's also geoeconomic fragmentation, which is just a fancy way of saying global supply chains are shifting all over the place. Add in some persistent economic uncertainty, like inflation. And finally, big demographic shifts, with populations getting older in some places and younger in others.
And what you're seeing here is how this all connects to our actual lives. I mean, these aren't just abstract ideas in a report. They are actively reshaping every single corner of our world, from the farms that grow our food and the factories that make our stuff, all the way to research labs and even our kids' classrooms.
So when businesses themselves were asked, what are the biggest drivers you're dealing with, 3 things shot to the top. A full 60% said broadening digital access, half pointed to the rising cost of living, and almost half, 47%, named climate change mitigation. So you've got technology, economic pressures, and the green transition. That's the trifecta really shaping business strategy right now.
Okay, so we've covered the why behind this transformation. Now let's move on to the what. Let's see which specific jobs are actually set to grow and which ones are, well, fading away.
And the report shows this incredibly clear and widening divide. On one hand, the fastest growing jobs are super technical and strategic. Think AI and machine learning specialists, fintech engineers, security management. But on the other hand, the fastest declining jobs are the ones that involve routine clerical tasks that, let's be honest, can be automated. We're talking data entry clerks, bank tellers, postal service clerks. The trend is just unmistakable. Now, this slide is fascinating because the fastest growing jobs aren't actually the largest in terms of sheer numbers. Some of the biggest job gains in absolute terms are going to be in these essential hands-on roles. The report projects a mind-boggling 35 million more farm workers, mostly thanks to the green transition. And we'll see more delivery drivers, more construction workers, and more salespeople. This whole story is about way more than just writing code. And this brings us to what might be the most crucial point of all. Specific job titles. They can be volatile. They come and go. But skills are transferable. They're what empower you for the long haul. So what does your skill set need to look like for 2030? The report could not be more clear on this. I'm going to quote this directly because it's so important. Analytical thinking remains the most sought-after core skill among employers. It's that foundational ability to think critically, to solve complex problems. It's the bedrock that everything else has to be built on. So once you have that solid foundation of analytical thinking, what do you build on top of it? Well, no surprise here, it is all about technology. At the very top of the list is fluency in AI and big data. That's followed really closely by networks and cybersecurity, and just a good, solid, general technological literacy. Companies are literally racing to find people with these skills. So let's make this personal. How much of what you know right now is going to need an update? Well, on average, workers can expect that 39%, that's nearly 2/5 of their core skills, will either be disrupted or just become outdated by 2030. The idea of lifelong learning isn't just a nice buzzword anymore. It's a core survival strategy. All right, let's wrap this all up by looking at how our very relationship with technology in the workplace is going to change. This is really where it all comes together. As it stands right now, if you break down how tasks get done at work, humans still do the biggest piece of the pie, all by themselves, about 47%. Technology handles around 22%, and that last 30% is done by humans and machines working together.
Now, just look at the projection for 2030. It is a dramatic rebalancing. The division of labor becomes almost perfectly even. A third done by humans alone, a third by tech alone, and a third through human-machine collaboration. The takeaway here couldn't be clearer. The future is not about humans versus machines. It is about humans with machines.
And that really brings us to the core message of this whole thing. The world of work is right in the middle of a massive transformation. Jobs are changing, tasks are shifting, and our partnership with technology is getting deeper every single day. So the final question really isn't about the economy. It's about you. Your job is changing. Are your skills?